welcoming you to our chair yoga session today. Today we're going to plant some seeds for the spring. Those of you here in the United States may be experiencing the shift from into daylight savings time where we lose an hour. Where does it go? I do not know. We lose an hour, and sometimes this can really be discombobulating and can add to fatigue. I was listening to something on the way to work today. There are more car accidents, heart attacks, and stroke during this transition time. So I think that we should take extra good care of ourselves today and find some time to slow down and reset and stay with our own internal rhythms. So that's going to be a little bit of the theme of our class. And we're going to get started by taking off those glasses, setting them to the side, rubbing the hands together, creating a little bit of warmth, kindness, care for oneself. And taking a moment to just cup the palms over the eyes loosely. Right? So I don't want to be pressing into the eyes, but I'm just creating this little space for my eyes. And within this sort of internal space, this is a great thing you can do before bedtime to kind of reduce the light at night. I'm going to take some breaths. So drinking in the nourishment of stillness, darkness of the eye cover. Letting go of all the moments that led to this one. And just arriving in whatever state of being I'm in. Taking extra good care of myself today. I might roll my eyes around a little bit, lubricate the eyeballs, and then gently separate the fingers, bring the hands down. If there's any little massage you want to do on the way. If you want to put the glasses back on, great. Maybe you don't want to put them on for a little while. So I'm going to start our class with a little bit of neck range of motion. That looks so good, Roxanne. Keep doing what you're doing. A little self-care massage. And when you're ready, you can join us just moving the head from side to side. Breathing into center. Breathing out to the other side. And if you look at monitors a lot already, you might just close the eyes. So moving the head from side to side with the breath, staying with the breath. Those arms can just dangle at the sides, right? So the arms are nice and heavy. Right, I'm not resting my hands on my lap. I'm actually letting my arms dangle, and this will give a little bit of a bigger stretch. Good. Come on back to neutral. If there's any other movement of the head and neck that you would feel good, you might take some little circles, very, very small circles with that breath moving. So just waking up the cervical spine. Maybe moving the other direction. So taking time for a little reset here. You got it. And then I'll go ahead and come back to neutral. And I'm taking a screenshot because some other people came in and I'm taking attendance today. Also, it's fun to look back at those screenshots later and see all your faces. I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides at whatever height feels okay to me. So I'm just going to inhale, lift the heart, and bring those arms back a little bit, and then give myself a hug. Big hug. Taking extra good care of myself today with this time change or with fatigue, whatever I have going on. I'm breathing in. Opening the arms, lifting the heart, little back bend. And then we'll give ourselves a hug, other arm on top. So taking two more like that. breathing in, open wide. Look at this big group of folks. I love it. Exhale, opposite arm on top. Big hug, just for showing up. And last one, opening wide. See how much farther you can go without pain. There you go. And then opposite arm on top. Big hug. I'm going to tuck my chin. And just take a breath here. And know that we're always on our way to becoming something. Today we're just going to marinate in the moment and become little seeds. Coming back up. And let's go ahead and just start to lift the arms up little by little. So I'm going to float my arms up and down. Inhaling, lifting, exhaling, releasing. So each time I lift the arms, I might go a little bit higher, depending on how your shoulders are feeling today. So I want to get the blood flowing. I want to get the lymph fluid pumping. Nice and gradual. That's beautiful. And taking good care of yourself. And then maybe the palms lift up. And then the palms press away. So this beautiful self-care circle, creating this space for myself to take care of myself. It's beautiful, Renee. So yeah, you can look away from the monitor. Couple more breaths like this. Here I am, just exactly as I am in this moment. And then I'll do one more. Lifting the arms up and bringing the hands to heart center. And today, with my hands at heart center, I'm actually going to create a little space in that cupped palm. So rather than flattening my palms, I'm actually creating something called Dove Mudra. And I'm going to let that rest at my heart. Always on my way to becoming something. So within the space of this little enclosed palms, I might close my eyes and just allow a moment of peace to enter into this little space. Maybe there's a little intention or something you'd like to plant within the space of the cupped palms. Or maybe you'd like to just find one thing you're grateful for today and tuck it into this space. And then I'll go ahead and I'll just release the hands down. And now let's take a little bit of a wider stance. So I'm going to move back, take a little bit of a wider stance, anchor down through the sit bones. Come away from the back of the chair. And welcoming you, Joyce, welcoming you, Pat and Flora. I didn't get the chance to say hi, and Judith. So we're taking those circles of the torso in one direction. Just waking up the spine. Coming back the other direction. Just going at your own pace today. Really connecting with that. What do I need? What do I want out of this practice? And then I'll come back to neutral, and I'm going to take some gradual side bends. So I'll bring the right hand up to the right rib cage, lean to the left, fill up that right rib cage with my breath, and then release back to center. Left hand, left rib cage, stretch to the right, and release. And we're going to move from side to side. You can stay as low as you like, or maybe you'd like to bring the arms up and over. I'm still rooting down through my sit bones, so I might lift the arm up a little bit And this sort of gradual approach is so good for our springtime selves. When we get that, dose of warm weather, we immediately want to kind of run out there and do all this stuff. And this is the time when injuries happen, right? All the joints are not used to that new activity of being down on the knees, gardening, if that's something you do, or out jogging, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go jogging again. What? The body says no. So gradual is such a great approach. All right, so we're coming back to neutral. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the arms out to the sides like a cactus. Got my feet rooting down. And I have this awareness of my core, right? So it's nice and stable. I'll take a breath in and bring the elbows back. As I exhale, bring the forearms together. I could create that little dove mudra, cupping the palms again. So there's a little seed planted there. Inhale, open. You got it, Roxanne. Exhale, squeeze. Create space for what is becoming. Moving at your own pace. Just listening to your own body. You might take one or two more, or if you feel done, you could give yourself a hug. Right, those palms coming together, touching together like we did at the beginning. And then I'll go ahead and interlace my fingers, press the palms away if that would feel okay. Juice up the fingers. And I'll go ahead and release and just walk my feet back. I'm going to take a little stretch for my trap muscles, which are always tight. So I'm going to bring this right arm behind my back. I'll tilt my left ear to my left shoulder, so away from that shoulder. And you could stay here already feeling quite a stretch myself. Or you might spin the chin down so you're peeking at that left shoulder, and we're just taking a couple of breaths here. Soft breath in. Soft breath out. Good, and then we'll switch sides. Bringing that left hand behind the back, if that would feel okay, or rest it on the hip. Tilt the ear away from the arm. Maybe you spin the chin down. We're breathing in, breathing out. Good, and then I'm releasing. I'm going to grab onto my chair and just stretch the legs, lifting one leg at a time, juicing up the knees. And maybe I would like to try just holding that right leg up, pointing and flexing a few times, so bringing some awareness to my lower limbs, circling the toes. And then switching sides. So going at your own pace. Extend that left leg, point and flex. Oops. Not a little mute. Get that left leg lifted, pointing, flexing, maybe circling. And then I'm going to release the leg down. Come to the very edge of my chair. And do a little march in place in slow motion. Opposite arm, opposite leg, integrate the core. Maybe one more on each side, and then I'll rest my hands in my lap. And at the edge of my chair, I'm going to visualize the steps it would take me to come to stand. I could also stay seated if that is preferable today. And I want to practice my sit to stand. I'm going to do a total of 5. You could decide maybe 1 is enough for you. So see how it feels just to push up and come back down nice and slow. If you have knee issues, maybe you only do 1 or 2. Do whatever feels good with the arms, right? You might want to use the chair for support. You might want to press into the thighs. You might want to bring the hands across the chest. That makes it a little bit harder. So lots of options. I think I'm on number 4. And then this will be my last one, coming up to stand, walking it out, finding a place to gaze that is not the monitor, and just getting the legs stretched here, getting a little bit of blood flowing, welcoming you, Joyce. I'm so glad you came to class today. All right, and then we're going to find a place to stand with some support. Take that little sip of water if you need it. Refresh wet your whistle. And if you're ready, you can connect your mind down with your toes. Maybe the toes respond to what you're asking them. Maybe they don't. But I could look down and maybe get a little dialogue going with my toes. So I'm going to try to lift and spread all 10 toes. Maybe, maybe not. And then maybe dig them down. Maybe I'm only doing this with my mind and the toes are not responding at all, and that would be perfectly fine. So I'm just lifting the toes off the earth, spreading them and digging them down one more time. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead and explore coming up onto the tiptoes and releasing down. Maybe one hand on the chair the whole time. Maybe one or both arms lifting. You've got it. You could switch which arm is touching the chair. Gradually exploring this tiptoe lift. Now add the breath. Let the breath be the wind in your sails. One more. All right, inhale the arms all the way up. Maybe the palms touch, maybe they don't, right? It would be okay if they didn't, and I could have my little dove mudra at the top. And then I'm going to sink down into my knees, bring the hands at heart center, those cupped palms touching as if they could, they're in like a little bud formation. So here I am, sinking down deep into the earth. My hips are back, weight is in my heels. I'm isometrically pushing my feet apart. This is a strong pose, chair pose. And then I'm going to inhale and lift my arms up. And as I exhale, I'm going to side bend to one side and side bend to the other side. You've got it. The arms could be separated too. Back to center, sink down into the earth. Maybe you do this seated. Lift up into the heavens. And then let's move everything in between. Side bending to one side bending to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, sink down into the earth. Lift up to the heavens. Stretch everything in between. Good, we'll do one more. You got it, Karen, beautiful. Sink down into the earth. Imagine you're planting a seed. Inhale, that seed sprouts up. Exhale, flowing in the breeze. Good, and then I'm coming back to center and I'm just going to bring my hands down and maybe just flick my fingers a few times. So as if I had water, I wanted to flick off the ends of my fingertips, and I'm going to go faster. You got it, Bev, and faster, as fast as I possibly can go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release it. And let's go ahead and take that sip of water. Feel that energy and the vitality in the hands. taking that right foot forward and bringing the left foot back for warrior one. I'm bending into my right knee. And if I feel wobbly, I'll bring my right foot to the right. My torso will be nice and upright. You've got it. And then I could do whatever feels good with the hands. Maybe I come back to my dove mudra, resting on my heart. What is forming in this little space right over my heart? Can I breathe some stillness and peace into this moment? Squeeze that left glute muscle. You got it, Edith. And then I'll release slowly. Bring the left foot forward a little bit. And I'm taking a forward fold. The hands can rest, the hands or forearms can rest on the chair, or you could bring the hands to the low back or to the hips. So I'm leading with my heart. And careful not to jut the chin forward, so tucking the chin. Tuck that chin, Marty. Yes, you've got it. Beautiful length to the back of the neck. Lifting that right kneecap. You got it, Janelle. And come on up nice and slow. It's a good stretch for the back of that right leg. And I'm stepping my left foot forward and right foot back, sinking into the left knee. Squeeze that right glute, nice and upright with the torso. Hands at heart center in that little cupping of the palms where there's a little space there at the heart. What do I want to infuse this space with? Maybe the answer is I don't know, and that's a great thing, to allow there to be space for not knowing. We think we always have to know the answer or what we want at all times. I think a lot of my life, if I had had this encouragement to allow the not knowing to be okay, I could have figured things out better. All right, my friends, come out of it nice and slow. I'll stop jibber jabbering. Walk that right foot forward a little bit. So we've got both legs straight and strong. We still have the left foot forward. We're going to take a little forward fold. Hands could be on the chair, forearms on the chair. Hands could be on the hip or resting on the low back. Right? I don't want to round my back here. Right? So I'm tucking my chin, but I'm leading with the heart. Getting that good stretch to the back of the left leg. Can you find your breath? All right, and then I'm coming out of it nice and slow, and I'll take both hands to my chair or my wall or my counter and come back into a downward facing dog. So big stretch for the shoulders. If that feels like too much, you could bend the elbows. Big stretch for the hamstrings. If that feels too tight, you can bend the knees a little bit. Finding 2 or 3 breaths. It's okay to not know the answer. And when you're ready, come on up nice and slow. Take that sip of water if you need it. We'll take a wide stance. And I'm going to put that imaginary hula hoop on and begin to circle my hips in one direction. Maybe it's a big wide circle today, maybe it's small. Do whatever feels best with the arms or hands. Push those hips forward, to the side, to the back, to the other side. Maybe I can exaggerate this a little bit today. And if you have low back issues, listening here, making sure you stay safe. in the opposite direction. All right, and then I'm coming back to center. I'm going to open my toes out to the sides a little bit. I'm holding onto my chair for goddess pose. I'm going to bend into my knees a little bit. And if I have knee issues, I might just keep the toes pointing forward rather than bringing them out to the sides. But I'm going to sink down as far as feels safe to me. And my knees and my toes are in line. Belly pulling towards the spine. Maybe you bring those arms out to the sides. So here I am, planting myself deep within the mud of the earth. And then I'll inhale and lift up and to the right. Exhale, sink down again into the mud. Inhale up and to the left. Exhale, sink down, as they say, no mud, no lotus. Inhale, reach up, be that lotus to the right. Exhale, sink down. Last one, reaching lotus to the left. And then we'll come back and we'll get into our goddess shape one last time. And maybe you want to bring the mudra at heart center. And maybe the mudra goes from being that little cupped seed to a blossom, right? Where the pinkies and the thumbs are together, like we've created a basket with the hands, and that can rest on the heart. Big breath in, and then I'm releasing. That's so hard on the legs, right? So walk it out a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and come to sit and do a little bit of a stretch and then a meditation together. So a little bit of a shorter class today, just to kind of help us get back on track. Coming to sit. I'm taking that right ankle over my left knee. And maybe it's a moment I want to spend a little moment tapping the bottom of my foot or gently massaging the bottom of my right foot. Those of us caring for peripheral neuropathy, this is something you can do every day. And some of you tell me that this does really help. It's just something you've got to do with frequency. Okay, so spending as long as you like there, and then I'll move into my hip stretch. So I might already be feeling that sensation. Maybe I want to lean forward a little bit more. If I want more sensation, I'm tucking my chin, and I might just gaze down at the earth. Soften my shoulders, soften my jaw. When you're ready, sit up tall, cross the knee over. I'm going to inhale both arms up. As I exhale, I'll twist my whole torso to the right, bring the hands down in support of my twist. So I'm not twisting too much with I'm not forcing it, using my core muscles, getting a really nice twist. And then relaxing back to center and switching sides. That left ankle over the right leg. Take a moment to massage the calf or the foot if that's available to you. Maybe tapping feels good. I know that's something that our Tai Chi instructor Rami had really emphasized, and we've done quite a bit of that with him in his classes. So that's a whole other ball of wax. When you're ready, let's try the hip stretch. So you could already be there, or you might want to lean forward a little more. Let those shoulders relax. Maybe you bring the gaze down at the earth. That's good, Gordon. breathe into that sensation. Maybe you want to push that knee down a little bit. Don't want to force it. If there's any pain, don't move through that discomfort. Finding those breaths. Got it, Jane. And then we'll come back up, cross the knee over. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. You got it, Flora. Twisting the whole body to the left. And those hands come down in support of the twist wherever feels good for you. Can you soften your shoulders? Soften your jaw? Twisting to the left. One more big breath. Good. And then we're relaxing back to center. I'm going to take a really big stretch here. Stretching the legs, stretching the arms. Any other movements the body's asking for? Maybe a little wrist circle, maybe another hug. And then I'm going to come into my most comfortable position. So getting really comfortable, that might mean you actually decide to lie down on your couch, bed, or floor with some padding. I'm going to do a little visualization meditation now. And if you're somebody who has to leave, please be sure you give yourself at least 1 minute of doing nothing before you go back to whatever you're doing. Okay, so getting yourself super comfy. Can you hear those chimes? Yes. Okay, so we're going to begin by closing the eyes or softening the gaze to the earth. And again, take your time getting into a comfortable position. Get all of those supports that you might need. Give yourself a little extra comfort today, on this transition day. And let's go ahead and find a few breaths together. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. You can say those words to yourself internally. On the inhale, the word let. And on the exhale, the word go. And I'm letting go of effort through my body. Little by little, letting the body drain of effort, starting with all the muscles in the face. Just letting the face be relaxed like a mask of mindfulness. Allowing the shoulders to soften, the jaw to soften. Can you let both arms be heavy right now? Letting both arms relax. Continuing to breathe, letting that belly be full. Bringing the awareness to that in-breath, coming in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Letting go of effort in the belly, all the way down the lengths of both legs. And just planting yourself down into the earth, imagining the dark soil, and imagining that you are a seed. And just resting in the earth, in the stillness and silence of the earth. Drinking in this moment just as it is. And maybe you're a seed that needs more time, resting, nourishing before you germinate. Or maybe you feel that you'd like to send an imaginary sprout pushing through the soil while sending those roots out. Pushing through the crust of the earth. And beginning to unfold. Drinking in maybe those first delicious rays of sunshine into your imaginary foliage. You're still connected to that anchor, still connected to those roots. And you can draw nourishment up from them anytime. Coming back into the body, infusing your body with breath. All of these seeds connected through this imaginary root system, our community. If you're reclining, you might begin to stretch out of it, roll to one side, give yourself a hug. If you're seated, you could give yourself a hug. If you need to stay resting for longer, please do. We're going to close our session today with the hands at heart center in the bud formation of Dove Mudra. And we're going to practice opening up that mudra at heart center, forming that basket to be open to receiving that abundance that is already all around us. So we might practice this sort of opening movement of the hands a few times. And then you might decide to stay with whichever feels better, being open or being closed and savoring this little piece inside the hands. And I'll seal our practice now with a short mantra, which means, may all beings be happy, followed by one Om and 3 Shantis for peace. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And thanking you so much for your practice today, friends. Namaste. If you want to do one more palming of the eyes, that could be a really nice way to come back from our session. So cupping those palms loosely over the eyes and just giving yourself a little pass today to take extra time, to take extra good care, to listen to your own internal rhythms. And when you're ready, you could release the hands down. And I want to thank you so much for taking such good care of yourselves today. And I hope to see you soon.